Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. I hope each and every one of you guys are doing well today. For many of you guys who are chosen by the Lord, you need to understand that not only are you favored by God, but God sends you to others as a blessing. He sends you to into people's lives as their blessing. Okay, let me tell you something. Many people who don't believe in God still has desires. Okay, they still make requests to the wind, to the air, to the universe. They put out their intentions, however they say this, however they do this. Okay, when Jesus Christ died on the cross, the veil was torn, and you need to understand that every single human being has access to the Father, but not everybody takes that. Not everybody utilize that access, right? So what happens is God will send his representative, you, okay? You represent God, and he will send you as his representative, and he will put you in the lives of others. And that's where you become the covering for other people. So basically, you're the only person in that group. You're the only person in that space. You're the only person in that place who is godly. That's why you go through so much. You are the only one with the light, apparently, okay? And he sends you as his representative. And what happens is you act as a covering. Just think of it as you act as an umbrella, okay? This big umbrella, you are the covering, and everybody is under the umbrella, okay? So as people start making their requests, like I said, these could be people who don't believe in God, don't care for God, but they've made their requests, and God hears them. God hears them. Remember, God says he doesn't come for the righteous. I think sometimes people forget it. God says he's not here to heal the righteous. He's here to heal the sick. Okay? So of course he's going to try to help the sickos, the sick people. He's going to try to help the sick people, because he wants to make them better. He wants to make them righteous. The goal is to bring them to him. All right. So he will send a representative. He will send a covering to help them. It's a good thing. He will send you to be a blessing in their life. Let me prove it to you. In Joshua 2, verses 18, it says, "Unless when we enter the land, you have tied this scarlet cord in the window through which you let us down, and unless you brought your father and mother, your brothers, and all your family into your house. If anyone goes outside your house into the street, his blood will be on his own head. We will not be responsible." Okay? And if you're trying to wonder, if you're wondering, what story is this? This is the story of Rahab. Okay, she helped the spies when Joshua sent spies to seek out the promised land, and she helped them. And for a reward, she's like, "Hey, listen, can you save me, and can you also save my family?" So basically they're saying, well, one, we need to be able to identify your house when we come to kill everybody. Okay, and so tie this scarlet cord on your house so we can identify your house. And not only that, if you want your family to be saved, they need to be inside of your house. Okay. If they're not inside of your house, we will not be responsible for them. They weren't playing. Okay. So here's Rahab. Rahab is the covering. Okay. She was like the umbrella. Okay. And everybody who remained under her umbrella remained alive. And it says if any one of your family members stepped outside of your house, which represent the covering, they will be killed. All right. So you need to understand that you, friend, the generational curse breaker, was sent as a covering for not just your family members, but this could be for your friends. This could be for your employer. This could be for the people in your neighborhood. This could be any space that God has sent you, any place that he has put you for a time or for a season. You were their covering. You were their blessing, okay? And sometimes, I don't know what it is. Actually, I do know what it is. People tend to mishandle their blessing. One, people lack a vision. Without a vision, the people perish. People don't see. Sometimes their blessing is staring them right in their face, and they cannot see it as a blessing. They see it as a curse because people are blind. That's why it says, without a vision, the people perish. When you don't have perspective, you will perish. All right. For many people, God has sent you. God has sent many of you guys as a blessing to help them, to cover them, to protect them. And they fumble you. They mishandle you. They treated you like they treated you like you were somehow a curse. Okay? When God sent you to take care of them. Everybody who remained in Rahab's house was saved. Luckily, they were smart enough to stay in the house. Okay? And so it goes to show you that the moment people the moment people step out of their blessing, interesting things may happen, okay? Because here was your umbrella, you stepped outside of the umbrella. So basically, you don't have a covering. They don't have a covering. You know why? Because they don't know God. If you were the only representative, if you were the only God representative in their lives, and they step outside of you, outside of their covering, then they're not covered. The only way for somebody to be covered outside of you is if they have a direct relationship with God. So because God knew that these people didn't have a direct relationship with him, he sent you. Mind you, you're not God. You are supposed to be a temporary covering for them until they can get it together and build a relationship with him, because that's essentially the goal. All right. But when people step out of the covering and they did not build a relationship with God, pray for them. Pray for them, because they know they're no longer covered. They have no protection. And we see right here in Joshua, they said, listen, if any one of your family member is not inside your house, they're not responsible for the bloodshed. Okay? Listen, God don't play about you. So think about it. If you're in this neighborhood, right? And if something bad was to happen in this neighborhood, it wouldn't happen simply because you are there. God is like, before you bomb up the place, my kid is there, my child is there. So go to a different neighborhood where I don't have any kids. Okay? God is not going to let somebody just blow up the neighborhood that you live in. Okay? If you work on the first floor, he's going to protect the first floor at least. You can't guarantee any other floors, but he's going to protect the floor you're on. God sent you as a temporary covering for so many people. And that's why God takes it so personal when people mishandle you. He takes it so personal when people fumble you, because he's like, you asked me for a blessing and I gave you the blessing. And you need to understand that one of the reasons why people fumble and mishandle their blessing, one, like I said, they lack vision, and two, you make them feel uncomfortable. You make them feel uncomfortable, and they have an idea of what the blessing's supposed to look like. They have an idea of what it's supposed to feel like, and it doesn't feel like that. And that's why it goes over their head, and they can't imagine that you were their blessing, because you make them feel so uncomfortable. But what God is trying to teach people is, he's saying, I'm going to give you this blessing for a time, but in order for you to keep this blessing, you need to grow. You need to grow. You need to grow emotionally, and you need to grow spiritually. And you need to understand that you're only in people's lives for a short period of time. And God will let you remain in people's lives for years. And that's the time frame that God is giving them an opportunity to grow, to get better, because there comes a time where either people walk away from you, or you will walk away from them. And when God removes you, when God removes the covering, and if they don't have a personal relationship with God himself, pray for them. Pray for them. Pray for them, because they no longer have a protection. They're not protected. They're not covered. Okay? A lot of times when good things happen to people, it's because you were around. You're not responsible for it. God is responsible for it. But when blessings starts flowing in people's life, it's because they're attached to you. When good things start happening for people, it's because they're attached to you. But one of the requirements is that they need to grow. And people hate growth like it is the plague. They hate growth like somehow it's going to kill them, when it's going to make them. And God is like, no, I'm going to allow you to have this blessing. I'm going to allow you to have this covering. One, you can't mishandle them. You can't mistreat them. I'm going to remove you, or I'm going to remove them. But yeah, you are a temporary covering for people, so that eventually they can establish a relationship with the true and living God. All right. But I pray that God will continue to use you. I pray that he'll continue to just dispatch you to the places that he needs you to go. Continue to keep your heart pure. Continue to, that scripture, do not grow weary in well-doing. Do not grow weary in well-doing. And at the end of the day, everything that you do is for God. It's not even for you. You're working for God. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.